This is sort of a different flavor. You see what these are, right? I did a short little video. These are heavy duty fins. You pick these up and you're going, wow. Um, those are the same fins that Navy SEALs wear. I call them dolphin fins because if you want to body surf in big waves, you need a fast motor, or you miss the wave. Yeah, particularly in the Hawaiian waters because the amount of energy that is whoosh, coming on in. Yeah. And so the reason that I'm sort of doing this is that there's another channel that I subscribe to, which is Gijang, Gijang. It's probably not pronounced right. But there's a spiritual retreat monastery, yeah, monastic, like monads. And there's a guy that I watch that goes out and he does what are really healing exercises, which is energetics, the form and flow of the energy, right? That flows through all the circuits, our musculoskeletal systems and all that, right? And so because I'm old school, I did not have the benefit all my life by virtue of what I needed to do, which is the work that I did, which is my record, to have, if you will, in my presence, an electronic device, crystals, if you will, like others use, because I was moving so fast. I just didn't have time because I either wasn't in the place long enough to be able to acquire it because of the nature of the work that we do. It's just the speed at which we travel. It's like a blur. And so it's like experiencing the eternal spirit of fire in you. Okay? That's your cleanup crew. Okay. Know what I mean? You know what exposure is, dose-response relationship, right? Which is known as time and density, right? When you know that you never experience anything less than what eternal unconditional love is. When I was a little 4-year-old little boy. So I've covered this a little bit before because I don't have a lot of time on this phone because it just doesn't hold that much memory. I wanted to make sure that because I'm in the health community, much like Karen Ann Luke McDonald is, right? I use different methodologies. Okay, which don't cost you any money per se, and they're free of charge. And they will, how would I put this? When you think of flow and form of energy, I don't know of anything that will clean you up faster. Tone, you know what musical tones are? Where you can tune in to the music, mama's music, which means all your muscles, the flexibility of your skeletal system, your cells, regeneration, which means the intelligence of the assembly, which is your DNA. It is living energy, which is living, intelligent energy. When your consciousness, which is the intention of your soul, arcing spirit, then the DNA, which is the living intelligence of your software, will acknowledge the command authority, okay, to work together, to tune. We're retuning ourselves, okay? So what happens is, because I've done this before, when I've mentioned like in 1984, I guess it was, when I wanted to get myself down into what I call body surfing shape because of how powerful it is when you think of isometrics, anaerobic and aerobic, right? The ocean can be very unforgiving if you haven't learned the form and flow mechanics and the flow of water, powerful electromagnetic energy in big waves. Yeah, it's and this is where your breathing technique comes in. So what he was showing on his videos is how you do it on land. I do it in the water, but I can do it on the land, right? But I know, for example, a lot of the damage that's been done to my avatar, particularly as a result of hernias, a lot of the work that I've done with a lot of lifting and all the rest of it, I've had to rebuild this software many different times, not the least of which is everything that we're being exposed to by what we breathe, what we ingest, what we inject, what we absorb, which means every pathway of exposure, which is what I call an input, and then you have an output, which is a wastewater treatment system, yeah, to maintain the energetic flow, so you're always experiencing a state of peace, a state of calm, a state of rhythm with the plasma waves, which means you know how to tune into the stars, okay? You know how to tune into the music. So the ocean plays music. Yeah, and particularly over here on the north side of the Big Island of Hawaii, there's a place called Lapoe. I mentioned it before. There's like a boat ramp. You go in there, not far up there, the humpback whales birth their calves very powerful water to clean you up in a matter of minutes. Whoa. You see how that works with waves? Tuning? Those frequencies in that water will retune you in a matter of minutes, which means you don't need a laptop. You don't need another device. The ocean will do it for you. But you have to sync, which is like earth sync, right, with the waves, because the waves are consciousness. So when the consciousness of the waves are experiencing the waves of your intention, we will get retuned, because the consciousness in the waves is acknowledging with the living intelligence of your living DNA energy and your soul arcing spirit what your intention is. And it will happen, which is to manifest what it is you're choosing to manifest. What now? Which means following the elements will work in tandem with you. Tandem like twinning magnets. And so I've realized for some time now, it takes a longer period of time, right? If I go out and do the exercises, like I look at my muscle, the tone, the musical tone, see how I'm going like this, the flow, right? Of electromagnetic energy, the currents, how the circuits flow, how the energy flows through all the circuits, the neurons, the neuroions, chemical messengers, right? And so the fastest way that I know how to get yourself back in physical shape so that you're like retuning yourself naturally with the intent of your solar arcing spiritual consciousness is in the Pacific Ocean, particularly out here in the Hawaiian Islands. And I know a lot of very special places, particularly on the island of Kauai or even the island of Oahu. I haven't been to Maui, but I know some places here on the Big Island, Lapahoe is one of them. So what ends up happening is the ocean, you're in concert. It's like a choreograph, like it's a holographic choreograph, which means you're a musician tuned into another musician, right? And so you're and you see I'm going like this, right? You're tuned into the waves, into the lines of communication, the frequencies. So you're frequency modulating, right? To retune your auric energy field, strengthen your shield, right? And so if I want to do it in the fastest time possible, instead of doing it every day for 15 minutes, 3 times a day, and it might take maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month to get everything retuned without the use of like another device that can help you do that, jump down to any ocean where there's some clean water and go out on the water a little bit each day, you know, because you know how it is, the way the sound loves to travel through water versus the land. You want to retune yourself the fastest way possible? Do it in the ocean. I've been doing that my whole life, and it doesn't take long. You know, that's why it always feels good. If you've ever had any kind of back injuries, muscle injuries, the ocean will flex, which means the nerves will release that tightness, that tension, that nervous tension that's in those muscles, right? Loosen everything up. Flex, baby. Flux like in flux. You know about flux, yeah? The flux. And so I wanted to share that because I need to get out to the ocean and do that because I'm in rehab mode. That's why I have this place pretty much to myself to go out every day, work with the sun, work on the rock, ground my feet to the rock. The stuff I'm putting in my body now is I'm returning to what we call purity. You know what a purifier is? It's a pure spirit, which is the pure eternal spirit of fire, which is eternal love. So I'm pushing toxins out of my body at a higher rate of speed between density and dimension, right? Of everything that we're exposed to, right? That doesn't belong there, right? Because I gave a command when I was 4 years of age, anything less than what I am, which is what love is, goes on forever, get rid of it, transmute it. So you realize everything that we've been exposed to, that's what I'm doing now. You know, day by day, week by week, right? So now I'm realizing I need to start working on my muscles and my skeletal because I've had some bad skeletal injuries when I broke my back. I had a compression fracture in my lower spine. I had a surgery from that. That led to a hernia, right? So I've had to rebuild my circuits on my own, okay? In other words, doctors weren't doing that. So I've had to rebuild a lot of the circuits in this system by knowing how to do that. Yeah. And because of the work that was required of us to do that, Otherwise, I wouldn't have been as successful in what it is that I was supposed to do as part of a team. Yeah. And so we know how to repair ourselves, right? DNA is living intelligence. So when you realize what it is you're connected to for the reasons that we're here, it happens. Yeah. Because of how much love we have in our heart for all of creation. Yeah. So that means living intelligence, which is the consciousness field, is working with us. Yeah. It's like they know, we work together. Right? We're all on the same team. Yeah. Light is what love is. Sound and light joined as one forever. Right? It's always on fire. Okay? The spirit of fire. Right? Dance into the music. We play music. We're musicians. Absolutely. What I call original sound recording artists. Right? And so I wanted to share that because it's a way that I know for those folks that are, because of everything that we've been exposed to over time. And I know that Karen puts out a lot of stuff about essential oils, the elemental stuff, the Genius app and all that. And I applaud her for all of that. But for me, because of what I've had to do to repair myself, because of how many times I've had to rebuild myself, I know the fastest way to do it naturally. So I'm natural, which means I allow creation energy to do that. So I have a relationship with all there is. So I communicate with the consciousness that represents Mama, and we're gonna do this, Mama. So she knows, so I know why I'm in the ocean, and I know that you can rebuild yourself, and you get yourself back into form, which is the form and flow of energy, and get yourself motored back up again, right? Particularly when we're talking about bioregeneration, right? I think I did a story on what I did with that licensed practical nurse in Oregon when we were going to do a movie together, a documentary together, and a book together to show her how fast you can rebuild yourself, right? When she took a baseline fundamentals of my ABCs, my basic metabolic rate, and within a period of years, she came back, she goes, you know what, you knocked 30 years off your age, and so I thought, well, it's not that hard to do, okay? I work with Mama, okay? Yeah. So the fastest way I know how to do it is the Pacific Ocean out here, right? Because I've been telling myself last week, Mama, I got to get down there. I got to get down there. But I don't have any wheels to get down there. But I'll get down there, right? But it's not a place right now that I just need to jump in there because that's a very powerful tank, which means if you're not in, the energy down here is, if you struggle with the waves and your heart, lungs, and all that works, you might have some difficulty getting out of that water. You know what I mean? Because of how much the power of that energy. And people can have a tendency to be sort of consumed by that energy, and they wear themselves out trying to get out of the water, let alone just jumping in the water and then getting out of the water. So it's something that for me, I work at it. I get a feel for the touch, right? A feel for the energy. But it doesn't take long. Find yourself a great swimming hole, yeah, and have a communication relationship with living water, and the water will respond in kind, yeah. And so anyway, have a good evening. We love you all. Be good to yourselves.